Okay guys, so it's time for some more Kastking Zephyr action. And in today's video, we are going to put the Zephyr through its toughest test yet, and probably the toughest test it will actually ever be put through, and that is to see if the Zephyr can cast a 1 gram trout magnet out of the box with no modifications. Now, I've got the Zephyr spooled up with 2-pound mono trout magnet brand, and just like with the DAIWA Alphas Air and SHIMANO ALDEBARAN BFS, the spool is not filled even halfway. Of course, I've got it mounted on the Kuying Teton TTC, a rod that I specifically bought just to be able to cast trout magnets with a bait caster. Now, I think Jimmy over at Roar Fishing may have actually tried this test, but if I recall, he did not have a rod that I think would appropriately load up a trout magnet, and he might have been using heavier line. But go over to his channel and see if you can find that video and check that out. But from what I remember, that's what I saw, and he wasn't having really good success. But maybe with this lighter powered rod and thinner line, the Zephyr will be able to perform a lot better. All right, so setup is key when casting these super light baits. So I'm gonna set the spool tension to just minimize side-to-side play. Maybe even back it down 1 click because you want the least amount of inertia possible. Okay, so I set up the Zephyr to have just a little bit of side-to-side wobble. And of course, we're gonna turn the brakes all the way up to maximum. All right, here we go. First cast. Okay, just as I suspected, it went off to the left, but I didn't think it would go that far off to the left. Now, I was casting that way, and it landed over there. But to be fair, so did the more expensive SHIMANO and DAIWA bait finesse reels. All right, let me adjust my cast release point. Accuracy is a little better, but the distance is already very acceptable. I'm thinking it's going out there close to 20 foot already. All right, so let's turn these brakes down 2 clicks. All right. Accuracy was a tad bit better. Let's try again. Now, wherever I'm facing my GoPro is where I'm aiming. So I am aiming straight this way. Yep, spool is still relatively heavy for this lure. Now keep in mind, this spool is only about 0.4 grams heavier than the SHIMANO ALDEBARAN spool, which, if you guys recall, really surprised me on how far it could cast this trout magnet out of the box. So we're gonna go down 2 more clicks. I don't see any kind of spool issues. All right, distance not really going up that much. Accuracy is a little bit better. Spool still controlled. All right, that might have been the most accurate cast yet. Distance did go up by a few feet. I think it probably went out there at least almost 10 yards already, so very impressive for the Zephyr. All right, let's back these brakes down 2 more clicks. All right, so the accuracy, granted, I had to really adjust my release point, was straight ahead that time. Seems like all the fish are out of this little cove here. Okay, let's keep on backing these brakes down. We're gonna back them down 1 click at a time now. All right, so distance very, very doable. We're probably talking hitting at least 10 yards right now. Okay, had a little blow up on the spool, and to be honest, that's because a wind kicked up. I could definitely feel it, and luckily line has not went between the spool and the frame. The wind is starting to kick up coming into me. I don't know if you guys can see it on the water, but the show must go on. Yep, either I'm on the limit or that wind is definitely kicking up. And I'm thinking this trout magnet is going out there at least 10 yards. And that is the goal, because 10 yards in a small stream or creek is definitely a fishable distance. All right, let's go this way, and we're gonna back the brakes down one more click. Okay, the accuracy is still off, but a lot better than at the beginning. Okay, I think I'm hitting the limit now because I'm having some overrun issues. All right, a couple more casts on this brake setting. All right, well, distance is definitely doable. And I think I might be able to go lower on the brakes. Now I forget how tall this spool is. It might be like 34 millimeter. Okay, I think I'm reaching the limit on the brakes there. And I'm surprised it could go down that low, to be honest, due to the fact that this is a MagTrack style system that's static. But yeah, I think the line finally got caught between the spool and the frame, and just like before, it's on the handle side, not the palm side. Let me take that out. Okay, so I took the spool tension knob and I tightened it up one click to remove that slight side-to-side play, and maybe that'll help. Now that little backlash was my fault, not the reel's fault, because I haven't really quite adjusted myself to how fast these lures are hitting the water. All right, let's keep on going. Okay, so I think I have definitely hit the limit. I'm not whipping it out there as hard, and the distance seems to be about the same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the brakes up one click, and we may have our optimal setting here. All right, so accuracy is off. Might be due to the fact that I turned the spool tension up one click. So we're gonna back it off one click. So if you can live with the fact that you're gonna really have to adjust your cast release point and probably angle to get this thing to cast relatively where you want it to, then this thing can definitely cast a trout magnet a fishable distance in a pinch. Let's try overhead. Nope. Okay, just a couple more casts. So I'm thinking that the Zephyr is definitely falling short of the more expensive JDM reels when it comes to outright distance, probably by you know, a couple of feet. Probably no more than 5 feet in my estimation. And that's just from memory. But where it is really falling short of the much more expensive JDM reels is the accuracy. Now, after fiddling with the ALDEBARAN's cast stroke a few times, I could get my accuracy down to where I could actually do some precision casts around that boat dock you guys saw. But with the Zephyr, I think it's better for casting in open water. And you're not trying to be pinpoint accurate. Okay, a couple of more casts. Now the good thing is that these brakes are definitely strong enough to handle a trout magnet. Like I said, I was surprised I could go down this low on this brake system. But yeah, this reel is definitely performing with this tiny lure better than I thought. And there are absolutely no fish in here. There's something going on causing this massive loop to form on the second half of the cast. I wonder if there's some kind of obstruction on my reel seat causing that. And I've turned the brakes up 2 clicks as well. There we go. A few more casts for the road. Definitely a line drive sidearm cast seems to work the best. For distance as well as spool control. Something that's low trajectory. Okay, so I'm gonna try to cast this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna angle my body this way. Now the distance was impressive, but still just the weight of that spool and probably the diameter of the spool as well is jerking this lure off to the left. There we go. I got it now. That was a good cast. That probably went out there probably well over 30 foot, probably approaching 35. See if there's anything in here. So basically the way I hit that cast was I was aiming towards the corner of that pontoon boat. It's kind of funny. Now keep in mind, guys, once again, these results are based off of using this particular rod, this line, filling the reel up not even halfway with this line. So if you have a rod that's a lot heavier powered and you go out and try to duplicate these results and are, you know, failing, then it's definitely the rod. The rod, when it comes to casting these tiny lures, plays a huge role. Probably well over 70% of casting this tiny lure is going to be this rod. So there we go. Aim this way and it'll go that way. All right, guys, so very impressed with the distance I could get with the Zephyr, with the trout magnet, the accuracy. was about what I expected. And like I said, it took a lot of adjustments to get the TROUT magnet to go where I wanted. But there we go, guys. Kastking Zephyr versus the 1 gram TROUT magnet.